Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Sales 101. I'm Matt Zimmer, Professor Z, and today we're going to talk about sales tools and techniques, mainly focused on the US software market. That's seemingly where the majority of my audience is, but also where I'm pretty interested. Definitely can expand that out a little bit if you're in an industry like food and beverage. I've got a lot of experience in that. Legal, really a wide variety of industries are affected by software today. So I think a lot of the tools and techniques that we're talking about here are applicable to basically any industry today. So I'm going to try to focus my efforts a little bit, but we can be here pretty broad. Pop some contact information in the we'll scroll there at the bottom. If you want to send a message, contact me. I don't even know if anybody's watching this. I haven't figured out how to track that yet. So yeah, this is the second live stream in the Sales 101 series, and I hope to kind of make this recurring, but I guess that'll depend on if anybody takes a look at it or not. But we'll try it for a little while, see how it goes. I think the last one helped me get some ideas down, and work through some things. So So if you're wondering who I am, I'd say you can go back and look at the past episode, but I'll do a little bit of a rehash here, maybe in less depth than I did last time. But other than that, let's get into it. So before I get started, I'm going to actually lead the segment off with my sales pitch. That's what's paying for this. That's what's allowing me to do this work. So nothing's for free. So everybody's always selling. So I'm going to do my sales thing, and then we'll come back and get started. So are you an e-commerce developer? You find yourself building code, pushing it, you think it's perfect, and then the customer comes back and says, hey, my product can't get added to cart, my customer is getting stuck in checkout. What are you guys doing? I can't believe you're pushing this code that's breaking it and breaking things. Well, I think you and I know that pushing new code, especially in the cadence that customers expected today, is fraught with problems. And breaking that cart experience is, for an e-commerce vendor, is about the worst thing you can do. Once you've broken that cart experience, can't check out, can't turn revenue, dead in the water. So Carteval is an automated compatibility tester that basically checks and makes sure you're not breaking the most important functionality of a e-commerce store, the checkout. There are a lot of automated testers out there. Carteval is the first one that's specifically focused on e-commerce tool sets, e-commerce platforms. If you're looking for a all-in-one solution, Carteval is your place to go. You can go to Carteval, CARTEVAL.com, and sign up for the beta today. The product just launched, brand new product on the market. You can get ahead of your competitors, save time, save money with Carteval. Cool. So now we're back. All right. So who am I? So I'm a serial entrepreneur, engineer by trade, salesman by force, let's call it, and have really spent the last 15 years of my life, in retrospect, honing my selling skills, my talking skills, getting more confident, talking to people. And I find myself here today live streaming to an audience of likely no one. I'm just, talking to the ether. But I believe that this is the next avenue for sales. I think if you look at influencers, in my mind, influencer is just another name for salesman. And we can call it what we will. If we want to keep the name influencer, I'm fine with that. But really what they're doing is they're selling. And they're selling in maybe the most honest way possible, where you're doing what you want to do, but the product comes along for the ride, and then someone's monetizing your personality, your trust, your honesty with your audience, to make a dime. And that to me is what a really effective and good salesperson does. They don't make it about the product. They make it about you, them, and the relationship that you have together, and it makes you want to carry on that relationship for the long term. So I think a lot of the skills we're talking about today are going to be really transferable to things like influencing, things like, frankly, like live streaming, and how to talk, how to listen, how to engage. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to be going over. Like I said, I'm brand new doing this, so I'm not saying I'm an expert here. I'm kind of learning as we do it, but hopefully you will come along for the ride, and maybe a few people will join. So yesterday, well, I guess that's a bit about me. Yeah, that's good. We'll keep moving. So yesterday I brought up a couple of slides. So let me. So we went through a couple of bullet points yesterday, which was advice for novice sellers. And if you're interested in really the details of these, go take a look at yesterday's stream. Went through them in pretty good detail, and I won't rehash that exactly today, but yeah, these were kind of four points for novice sellers, people that are new to selling, finding themselves in kind of the selling world and the sales world. And this is some advice to try to make them more effective. I think what novice sellers do a lot is they will rush through things. It's a volume game. It's how many people can I get to, and they don't spend the requisite time to really, listen, talk, and understand people's problems. I actually think their novice sellers are kind of set up for this environment and set up for failure too. Experienced sellers, we talked about the relative price points of the products that people are selling, and the amount of time that allows you to actually put into the sell. And novice sellers are generally given the lower ticket items, and when you're given a lower ticket item, you can earn there's less money behind it. We talked about a little bit how once you've figured out the sell and the market and how to kind of get through things, the relative amount of time you need to put into kind of closing a sale is roughly equivalent. I'm not saying these things are equivalent. This is just this is like rough back of the napkin math. What that means is like novice sellers are being given these products and these opportunities, which require this sort of behavior, which is kind of it's just a vicious spiral. So the advice is to try to break out of that spiral. Not think of that as something that you have to do forever. Always have your eyes looking upward, and really the goal is to try to sell more expensive things. Selling more expensive things means you have to sell less of them, which means you can spend more time on every individual sale. You can spend more time educating yourself on the product and the sell. And frankly, you just become a better, salesperson. So I think, like anything else, experience matters here. If you're coming in and you're a novice seller, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has to start at the bottom and claw their way up. But also, don't be surprised if the people at the top, aren't opening up their relationships and opportunities for you. Those people don't want competition. Competition is forces them to lower their prices, get more into the spin. So the powers that be don't want competition, but you still need to break into that market. So we'll focus on that. We'll focus on how to do that, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll get into it today. Maybe it'll be later. But today we're just going to focus on trying to think about the skill sets that you can hone, so that when you do have those opportunities, you can take advantage of them rather than learning how to do this stuff after the fact, which I think I'm maybe evidence or whatever. That's where a lot of my experience comes from. So cool. That's about it on that. What else? Yeah, so that's about novice sellers. These 4 bullet points: listen to the buyer, care about the buyer's problems, don't sell on price, sell on value, and play the long game. Like I said, the details are in the past discussion. I don't really want to get into those too much. I think I went pretty long-winded, and I think if you've watched up until this point of this one or any of the last one, you'll realize that like I'm kind of a bit of a rambler, and we'll kind of get stuck on a point and forget what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try to stay focused here and see how it goes. So today what I wanted to do was actually bring a little bit of technology into the sales conversation and maybe have a little bit of fun. And I don't know, call it my interest, my intrigue. I really just wanted to play around with a tool I've been seeing a lot of talk about, and kind of wanted to see, I don't know, if it could replace me. If it could replace me doing this job, whatever this job is. If it could, aid as a sales tool, if it could aid as a presentation tool, if it could aid as, a tool to help me shortcut some of my work that I do. So figured we do that live. Figured we could check out the results. And just see how that goes. So the tool is ChatGPT. I'm sure if you're younger than me, you've probably used it. I'm sure if you're older than me, your son has probably, or son or daughter, has probably used it. And it's basically a quote unquote AI tool. The best descriptor of the term AI that I've heard is augmented intelligence. I don't think there's anything artificial about what's going on here. I don't think it's intelligent. I think these are tools that allow you to augment your workflow. And so this is kind of a discovery to see if this tool can help with that in a sales capacity. But that's the tool we're going to be checking out. So what I'm actually going to do is I want to see what advice ChatGPT would give to novice sellers. And I'm gonna try to give it a few different prompts, maybe start really open and then, get more and more focused and see if we can kind of produce a list that looks maybe similar, or at least, has a similar flavor to what I've got on the left side of the screen. At least the left side of the screen to me. I don't know. I'm assuming it's the left side of the screen. I don't know. We're learning here. So that's what we're going to do. And with that, let's, there we go. All right. So now let's get into, so if you haven't, maybe I'll try to make this a little bit bigger. Would that be helpful? Sure. So if you haven't used ChatGPT, this is the main website. If you scroll down here, you can click on try ChatGPT. That'll basically bring me into this interface. I gotta log in. Well, let's hold on a second. I don't think I want to. All right, let's see if I can sign in before I. All right. Okay, so this is the interface that I get when I sign in. Let me zoom in again. All right, maybe you can see that better. Okay, so basically what we've got is a chat interface. So let's do a little split screen action here. Do I want to do that? Maybe I'll do this. What if I did? Whoa. Let's try to add something. Like I said, man, this is a lesson in how to learn how to stream. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Let me do this. We'll go like this. We'll turn this on. And then not exactly. Okay, let's see. There we go. Getting closer. Let's see. Oh yeah. That is looking nice. All right, we got the triple box going on. That's very exciting. Okay. I'm gonna keep making this thing freaking perfect. All right. So there you go. That's the interface. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go to skip my ad there. Go to here. All right. Cool. So you've got my hold on, guys. Well, the freaking thing doesn't want to display my presentation right. So we gotta go grab it again. All right. So this is processing, whatever that means. All right, there we go. Maybe. But I want this one. And we're gonna go to the last slide. Let's see if this worked. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm trying to make the text bigger. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is the list that I came up with, and now we're gonna try going to ChatGPT. So let's see, what advice? This is not going to create a list. I don't think. I know it's not going to create a list. So I'm just going to ask, what advice would you give a novice seller? Oh, that little thing's in the way. Oh, that's annoying. I got these overlays and it's like right in the way. Well, let's do this. There we go. Okay. What advice did you give a novice seller? That's like real broad. I don't even know if I'd be able to answer that question personally, but let's go. Let's see what this thing says. Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna end up. Okay, so if you're starting out as a seller, my advice would be to start by learning as much as you can about products or service you will be offering. Make sure you get to have a good understanding of their features, benefits, and potential drawbacks. This will help you to effectively communicate with potential buyer and answer any questions they give. Okay, so, learn the capabilities is what I'm, in a succinct way, that's what I would say this is saying. Learn the capabilities, which, I guess it's a fair, as far as point one, learning what you're selling is very important. That is like the most topical, interesting answer that you can think of. So let's try to get something a little more interesting here. How about what are the top 4? Whoops, gotta click into the freaking box. What are the top 4 pieces of advice you would give a new seller? Probably should correct that spelling. All right, let's see what the thing. So what are the top 4 pieces of advice you would give a new seller? Here are the 4 pieces of you. Oh, perfect. All right, loving that. That's verbatim. Okay. Okay, so let's scroll up here. Okay, so what are the top 4 pieces of advice you give a new seller? So let's see, do your research. That is a verbatim, for the other one, right? I will say that they're clearly focused on products and services. This is not doing your research on the customer, which I find interesting. It's focused on product, which I do think is the trait of a novice seller, that you focus on product, and you never think about what the customer wants, needs, or desires. So I think do your research is actually fair, but like just understanding the product, you're kind of like, it's like half the battle, if that. So, that's not a great, it's a fine piece of advice, just maybe not well thought out and well formulated. Create a solid business plan. Okay, if I'm a seller, let's see what else it says. Develop a clear plan for how you will market and sell your products or services. This will help you stay organized and focused. Okay, so this is interesting, because this thing's assuming that I'm basically an entrepreneur. It's talking about financing and investment. Like, it is assuming I'm a startup, right? I'm not coming in, like, to me, a startup and a startup salesperson and a salesperson, like, those are very different roles. The role of an entrepreneur maybe would be to get financing, but a seller, a novice seller isn't going to care about that. Now, creating a solid business plan, if I'm selling something that has established pricing, established margins, and I'm the seller, like, what business plan am I creating? Now, I could get my head around, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of the customer, and what I need to do is really create and craft a business plan for that customer that aligns the customer with the product that I'm selling. Okay, creating a bit, but again, I'm talking about the customer, and this is really opposite of that. So yeah, just an interesting. It's not like, okay, create a business plan for what, for who. There's a lot of stuff missing. I'm sure you can nitpick my 4 things, right? But I'm not a chatbot, so yeah. All right, number 3. Build a strong online presence. In today's world, it's important to have a strong online presence. This can include creating a website, social media accounts, and other. Okay. Again, like, yeah. But, how do you? What's a strong online presence, and B, how do you do it? Creating a website doesn't build a presence; it builds a website. Driving traffic. Getting people to visit your live stream. Those are really what build presence, and those things are difficult. And I'm not surprised that it doesn't kind of give advice on that. So let's move on to number 4. Ooh, this is new. You can update. I don't think this is very good. No, I do not want to submit feedback. No. I'm not helping. All right. Providing excellent customer service. Providing excellent customer service is crucial for success of any business. Make sure you're responsive to customer inquiries and concerns. Strive to exceed their expectations whenever possible. This will help build trust and loyalty among your customers and can lead to positive word-of-mouth referrals. Again, like, I'm not going to disagree with that point of advice, but like, that's customer service. Customer service and sales are different. So it doesn't seem like this system like either cares about customers or understands the difference between, like, it doesn't seem to understand that, like, customers don't buy on price and they don't buy on capability. They buy on value, and value is, I really don't think you can, how do I want to say this? These models are built on, when I say these models, the language model that ChatGPT is built on, it's built on data, right? It's built on, when I say data, it's built on information that the thing can, digital information that an entity can farm and feed into the thing and then, kind of spit out. Um, and I think inherently that comes with error, meaning, you can't always know, you can't always with 100% accuracy know somebody by looking at their information. You can't even 100% know somebody by talking and living with them, right? I mean, you never truly know, you never truly know somebody. A lot of people would say you don't truly know yourself. You can surprise yourself, and if you can surprise yourself, like, you sure as heck can be able to surprise a machine. So I think, when we think of value and values, values don't need to be things like, religious beliefs or political beliefs or whatever. Values can be like, I like fruit. I'm willing to spend money on high quality fruit. That's a value I hold. Valuing certain types of work or certain types of work structures or certain types of relationship structures. Those are all values, and I think those are really hard to discern from simply the digital footprint that somebody leaves behind, at least from a very high degree of accuracy. So yeah, I think what you're seeing here is just like a misunderstanding of it. This looks like somebody read a sales 101 handbook, didn't dive into the issue, spit out a couple things, and that's what you got. And I think if I read the internet with advice on sales and kind of tried to digest that down into what are the four most common things that I'm seeing here, this is probably what I would see. So that to me feels like what this bot is actually doing. It's finding the most common things related to what it's ascertained is the question that I'm answering, and then it spits it out. So I don't think this is great advice. I think there's nuggets of truth here maybe, but not really related to selling. Certainly not advice I'd give to a novice seller that's looking to kind of improve. If these things were aha moments for you, I'd really suggest you kind of reevaluate maybe wanting to be in sales, because these seems I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot here. That said, let's try maybe just another prompt. Let me try to get a little more specific. What if I kind of copied these? What if I said what do you think about my top 4 tips for new sales people? Can I do I can. I don't know. Let's ask it to evaluate my list, huh? I hope it's this is trash. Oh, man. Wow. Now I just, it's this thing is built around self-gratification. I had a bot tell me I'm doing excellent things. That's freaking fantastic. Would these be your top four? Let's see. Like, we know they're not, so no, they're excellent, but they're not as good as mine. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. The four pieces of advice that would really are equally important. Yeah, man, I don't agree with that. That's the, and that's the, I've done this a few times. Like, I've tried to argue with this thing, and like, what it just what I realized is, like, you're arguing with a machine that, like, literally its end of life is, does all the electricity in the world run out? Like, you're never gonna win an argument with this thing. It can just go for forever. It doesn't get tired. So I kind of my first conversation with this thing was sort of an argument, and now I just realized, like, it's just got its point of view, and when it says, but they are all equally important to new sellers to consider, like, well, it's qualifying, a statement that they're all equally important, and I happen to disagree that they are all equally important. Like, my list is ordered from 1 to 4 because that's the order I think they fall in. If some, like, so there's two things we could talk about: whether or not that's the right 4, and whether or not they should be reordered. What do you want to talk about? So I don't know how anything can be equally important, especially, like, it's interesting that this type of tool is really binary in its thought. Like, it's 0 and 1. It measures things in never and always. It's 0%, 100%. Yet I know that the tool is based on probability, and probability is never 0 and 1. There's never a 100% chance of anything. There's always a point, 0.01 to infinity, chance that something isn't going to happen or is going to happen. And it seems like there's rounding errors that go, like, because that level of nuance would, like, the tool. They just decide to skip it. Yeah, it's like this thing can't have two thoughts in its head at the same time. And so it just goes with the one, and that distills something down into some very, very simple, very simple thoughts. So cool. Well, that was interesting. What else can we... Is there anything else we could, play around with here? I'd love to get a message from somebody that they told me to, put something into the chat box and see what happened. But that seems like a road that's too far, huh? All right, let's see. I'm trying to think what to ask this thing that would be, like, helpful or interesting. Advice for novice sellers. What's the best way to get customer to buy what I'm selling? What's that? Buy what I'm selling. Jam it down their throat. I don't know. What's this thing going to say? Like, there is no one size fit. Yeah, that's the other thing. It really hits the middle road. Man, this is great. It's great textbook content. I wish there was a way of like having it like it's only got one personality, and it's not the personality I want to talk to. Like, I want to talk to the person that like isn't the PhD professor in everything. Like, it's just not that interesting. Like, I want to talk to somebody that's like got a slant, and that I can feel like I can convince. Like, I don't feel like I can convince this thing. Like, it's always an authority. It always has an answer. Like, it's never like, you're right. Will you ever admit I'm right? I don't think it can. I don't think it's capable. It's going to give me a long answer. I'm like, well, that's if you are right, I will, but What the heck? Oh. Yeah, that's the other thing. It doesn't. Right is a binary. It can be right. It just won't say it's right. It just says things authoritatively. Well, I think the best thing I got. I think these 5 points are actually pretty good. I'm gonna copy these. I think that this is, that actually ended up. So that's a better way to ask the question to this type of tool, just as a heads up. What's the best way to get a customer to buy what I'm selling? Those are actually, I think those are good points. Now, it doesn't get into like, how do I understand the needs and pain points? It doesn't answer the how, but what. It does a pretty good job on a what question. That's formulated like that. So maybe I'll try to use this tool to do some deeper digging at some point, and yeah, we'll check it out. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for today. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. But that was pretty interesting. I think, so I think, in conclusion, I guess I still find ChatGPT to be kind of like archaic. Like, it just isn't great, but like it produced something that's, it's true that the prompt is really important to getting something that's good out, which means like my input is more important than normal. On Google, my input, like Google does the heavy lift of figuring out, what I'm actually trying to say. I don't feel like this thing does any of that. This thing's just spitting it out, and it's like, ask your question in 50 million ways until you get the until you get the information that you're looking for. So it's like a information generator. Like, I'm the tool. I'm figuring out how to I'm figuring out how to manipulate this thing to get what I want. Whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter. I'm just figuring out how to manipulate it. So that's how I would think about this thing. Cool. Well, thanks for joining. I'm gonna maybe look at the playback. I feel like my video has been real choppy. I'm not sure why, but I will take a look at the recordings and see if I can figure it out. All right. Well, take care. Have a good day, and see you tomorrow. Bye.